Hello and welcome to another episode from the Fun in the Sun, the Algarve Sevens official podcast. Today, here you have, he's the head coach of the current Elite Men's Champions of the past year, the Ramblin Jesters, David Mob Smith. Today, he is, with the Maidenhead jersey, so it's a podcast with a lot of rugby in it. David, thank you again for coming for the past podcast. Last year you came for the first time before the Jesters were going to the Algarve. Now you are going again to the Vila Real Sant Antonio to try to keep that title at home. So what can we all expect this year from the Jesters?
Well, the standard of the tournament, the caliber of the teams, we just like to compete, if we're being honest. I mean, the first year we came there, we had to play China to just win the plate. So that explains the level of the competition. The second year, just to get to the final, we had to beat 70s, arguably the best team in Europe. So it's a very high elite tournament. So our expectations to go there and do well. But naturally, obviously, very proud to be the champions because for us, Algarve is certainly a marquee tournament in the season. No question about that. We put that as one of our sort of top ambitions of the season, and hence the type of squad we try and bring to that tournament.
David, before I pass on to Dallen, just a small question. Last year, I saw that you had a lot of fun because you were with all smiles, even before the final game. What why the vibe? Were you happy with how your players felt at home in Algarve?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our name is basically tells you what we are. There's a product that's sold in Britain, and it does exactly what it says on the tin, and that's what we are. We're jesters, so we're jesters on the field, off the field, on the way to the tournament. It's just how we perceive ourselves. It's our philosophy. It's the way we want to play. It's the way we want to be when we're together. And so we're not one of those intense sides that trains a lot. We never really train. We're very invitational. Sides change from week to week. And so for us, really, it's that backbone of our side, really, which sort of sums up what we are. So win or lose, we tend to leave that ground in the same mood. Yeah, even though maybe as you leave the field, you feel obviously the pain of defeat, but naturally, an hour later, we've just, especially in the Algarve, I mean, it's a unique place to come to.
Dallen.
And Mobsy, listen, it's rumored you're 150 years old. It was your birthday last year with the big 150. What's the secret to life? Because I know the Jesters' philosophy is always champagne rugby, and we're here to entertain you. But you personally, I mean, you've withstood the test of time.
Yeah, well, one of the things is to have as many champagne breakfasts as you can. That'll help. Okay, that's part of my philosophy. It is true I'm 150, but I'm not sure some of the facts said we went to the History Museum for my birthday. I'm not sure if that was true.
Yeah.
Okay, but part of the fun is understanding what Sevens is about. And it's one of those sort of topsy-turvy events where you're on a high and literally 30 seconds later, your world's crumbled. And then you're playing in a bowl game, and then suddenly winning the bowl is so important, and you're back on the high again. And that's the beauty of Sevens. It doesn't have that same humdrum of the 15 season, which is train this day, then you do this recovery day, then you do this, then you eventually play on the Saturday. Yes, that's a lovely way to play the game, but Sevens just has the sparkle about it the whole weekend, let's say, when you're there. And so it's a slightly different format, and that's what gives me the vigor. I love it in the summer. The sun's on your back, and it's just beautiful. And it suits my style of coaching as well, where you have to think on your feet, as opposed to what you find a lot in sport now, which is process coaching. Everything's done with a computer and sports science. And in Sevens, you have to make decisions with your gut and your heart sometimes, yeah.
Exactly. Now, we met a few years ago at the Rugby Town Sevens. We nicknamed you Gandalf there, obviously, because nobody could get past you. But what I want to ask you, Mobsy, is there are a couple of the great sayings that have been developed over the years. We are here to entertain you is one of the Ramblin Jesters' hallmark sayings, but also we never go to bed angry. And I know you've already touched on it in a bit before this, but I think that's a beautiful way to go by life, right? As you said, because you're going to have the roller coaster ride of Sevens, the ups and downs. But is it something that you personally bring to the table? David Barry, your founder with these 18 sons that have played through. Tell us more.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously I'm there from the very start. So I sort of helped create with two other people, the Radleys at the time, to shape what it went to be a jester and things like that. So that's really a big part of it, of how we see ourselves. And some of those sort of philosophy sayings were created by other people viewing us, but they were what we were trying to achieve. And that's what we really are. We are there to entertain. Naturally, we're trying to win every tournament we're playing in. But we're doing it with a smile on our face, and the way we want to play is to entertain. It's not just ourselves, shall we say, or the fans or the supporters. It's our management team, the people that played for us in the past. They watch you on live streams, because what's changed a lot in the sevens now, a lot of it's out in the media. You get live coverage. So we got people watching us, for example, when we're playing in the Algarve, and somebody who's played for us before from South Africa sitting down and watching the matches and buying into it, and another person's doing exactly the same in a different place in California. And so that's the beauty of having an invitational side like ours, where we just draw from all over the world really to play for us, and then just mix them in a pot. And for example, at Algarve, we'll probably do one training session before we play, and that's just part of what we are and who we are. And obviously we do lose sometimes to those more process-driven teams because they've prepared better, so people would say. But part of our preparation is making it harder for you to know what we're doing, because we're not sure what we're doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
David, before we go back to Algarve, one question. Do you think sevens, it's one of the big questions at the moment, is seven still matter? Is seven still the way to go to expand the game to different nations, different cultures?
First of all, I find it astonishing that there's people even trying to stand as the head of world rugby with an agenda that's trying to take sevens down. It's insane, in my opinion, and I'm happy to say that to anybody's face. The last 4 World Cups have been won by nations with sevens players in their teams. That's a fact. The teams that aren't winning the World Cup, you better have a look and see how many sevens teams you have in your elite athletic program. 3 key players in the last World Cup for South Africa that scored the tries and made the turnovers, all from the sevens program. And that's in a country that doesn't play sevens like England does from 12 years old. England have all these wonderful sevens players and they don't use them. Portugal's another one, and you can see it starting to factor back in again into their 15s. So for me, it's an incredible training tool. And I'm not in charge of the game, but I would certainly make sure if I was in charge of one of the countries that one of my academies was the sevens team, and I'd sacrifice another squad or team or somewhere else in the country for that if finances don't allow it, because it's just too big a tool for 15s development. Even if you set it aside just solely as a development tool, forgetting its own entertainment and its own value, just as a development tool for players, it's unique in that context to any training or academy or S&C program or anything, just simply because of what you have to do and how you have to decide on the field when you're playing. It just develops better players. And so when you spoke to me about culturally, it also suits countries that can't get out huge first division leagues, but they could have a first division Premiership Sevens tournament that would allow them to play at the highest level and go to the World Series. Very difficult to beat the All Blacks at 15s when you've got 4 first division clubs playing 15 aside against each other.
Yeah, because I've spoken, one of your players that plays for the Jesters and also plays for Maidenhead, which is Sean Engel from Germany, and he said that sevens, even if he doesn't play that much nowadays, helped him a lot to polish some skills, to understand better the game when he has a ball in his hands, or to get his ass out of the grass quickly to reposition himself. So it's a basis to have more success as a player, right?
100%. Sean is a perfect example. I don't know if you know, at Maidenhead, Will Greenwood works with us within the coaching squad, and he uses Sean regularly as an example at training to point out to other people, do you look in the same state as this guy does halfway through the session, sweating? He's playing a training like a game because he's trying to keep that intensity for his international career in 15s, but also at sevens, because he plays for Germany quite often at sevens as well. So he's a perfect example of someone who's made the utmost of their capability by playing sevens. And so he's playing like right on his 100% level because he knows where that is, because he's found it out in a sevens pitch. when he's playing against people who are quicker than him or whatever, because that one-on-one skill, you have to adapt and survive. I mean, how do you mark Perry Baker? Well, you can't show him the outside. There's no point. I mean, you have to come up with a solution. Otherwise, he's just going to run around you every time he has the ball. So that's the beauty of sevens. Whereas in 15s, you might only have to tackle him once in your whole career. You're playing at 7. You might never, he might only get the ball twice in the game.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of the sevens game. And Sean's a perfect example to use in why it develops players. And obviously at Maidenhead, we're lucky enough to have him. And at Maidenhead, we play 15s in that style. So we just finished 7th in our league. The 2 teams that got relegated have better defensive records than us.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Gandalf, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. So, when we met last year at the Algarve Sevens, David Barry has a lovely little palace nearby as well. Is that one of the reasons why you keep coming back to the Algarve, or is there more to it?
Well, he does have a wonderful collection of wines. He's obviously very, very adept at that. He's world-renowned in the rugby field, but obviously his wine collections are pretty right up there with his love of rugby. But I mean, he is in a way a bit unique in the game. He has this wonderful, it's not just that he has financial attachment to the game, it's this huge emotional attachment to the sport. And that's why he's involved in Ireland, the USA, the Jesters. I mean, he just loves the game and he actually knows the game. He played at a very high standard himself. And then his wife's the same, Maureen. She's really involved in it as well, emotionally. So, you get this wonderful family that come along and just buy into it all and travel with us. And it's just incredible to have somebody like that, leading the program really and making sure that we can go in the directions we need to go.
Yeah, exactly. And then specifically about the Algarve Sevens, I know that you said it is one of your absolute highlights, being obviously what a beautiful location, but tell us a bit more about that. Obviously, we know that each year it's getting bigger and better, and you said the competition's getting more fierce, but that's because obviously it's such a wonderful destination.
Well, it starts on the Friday, and this is the beauty of it because it has a social element to it as well. So you're sitting there, you come to the manager's meeting, and then there's the pre-tournament party, and that sort of sets the tone for where it is. And the hotels you're staying in are marvelous. You get this wonderful start to the tournament. Everybody gets to meet everybody on that night. It's great. Unbelievably well looked after. Transportation is excellent. The off-field support from the behind-scene management that nobody ever sees is top draw. And then you get to the ground. It's a first-class training facility, I believe, for football. I could be mistaken. And because of that, for rugby, it's excellent. Wonderful areas. They give us tents to stay in and things. It's just an excellent venue. And then the location, of course, it's in one of the playgrounds of the world. Do you know what I mean? So what can you say? Do you know what I mean? People are paying thousands of euros to go there on holiday, and we're coming down to have a party in the sun.
Yes, exactly. And I want to touch on the other sports because, again, you and I go to a lot of sevens tournaments around the world, but I think it's so unique to have all these other sports on the go, even if you don't have that much time to go watch. But, there's netball, but this year there's like 6 or 7 other beach sports as well. It's pretty cool and diverse and unique because then all those people come together for the little festival afterwards.
100%. It changes the whole dynamic. It's a sporting event. And so rugby's just part of it. You do get that in some tournaments. They tend to be daily tournaments. And they themselves are brilliant. What Algarve has done is capture that into a whole weekend extravaganza. And it's marvelous. It's all basically roughly in the same area. I think we had paddle going last year. It's just incredible, wasn't it? Was it netball as well, I think? And
yeah.
So there's all this stuff going on at the same time. I think I had golfers staying in my hotel. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, so you're sitting there having a drink and chatting away to people. And it's a special environment. And as I said, obviously you need certain things to be in place to make special things happen. And naturally the location as well is what helps. Do you know what I mean? It's in a wonderful part of the world. The weather's immaculate. It's not too hot because of the sea breeze. So you don't get murdered there during it. You know what I mean? And so, but at the same time, you're somewhere special. It's a wonderful venue.
David, you have already talked about the level of excellence of the tournament. So what are your expectations for this year? Because you're going to be a third time in Algarve. So normally you want more. So can you share with us what would you like to see to progress going further?
Well, from a tournament point of view, as you get used to going to tournaments more and more, and you go to and you repeat them, you actually hope from an organization point of view. And now I've got my sort of more manager's hat on than my coaching for the tournament. You don't want any surprises. You know what I mean? And so that's the beauty of the Algarve Sevens. The hotels. How the buses come to pick you up at the airport. You know it's there. You don't even have to worry. You walk out of your hotel, the coach is there waiting to take you to the venue. It's fantastic. So that side is huge for someone like me who has to get, 12, 13 strangers sometimes. Some of these guys, we haven't played together before we turn up to Algarve, some of us. So there might be 4 or 5 guys who have, it depends each year. And the way the Jesters are run, I can't tell you who's playing in our team in 20 days' time at the Sunshine Sevens. So, and the organizers are asking me for flight details of people in June. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I love the tournament from that aspect. Expectations on the field, well, you just look at the draw and you go, wow, we'll do well to get out of our group. And that's what you find at any elite tournament. You get out of your group and then you try and do something, because it's so hard to just get out of your group because of who's usually in your group at an elite tournament, just the standard of the opponents and everything. And so for us at any sort of, like, as I said, a marquee tournament like the Algarve, getting out of your group is sort of our aim. And then we'll see, you can, I think the first year we came, the quarterfinal was against Hong Kong and they were just better than us on the day, but we got out of our group at least to play them. And that's just how it goes in sport. And that's part of that understanding that there's more value to a tournament like Algarve than just winning it. There's a whole reason why you're there. And obviously the Jesters are there to give people a chance to become elite rugby players, and some go on to do that. And it's also part of giving young people a great experience in life and memories and making mates for the rest of their lives. And that's what they're doing. And that's why we're really lucky that we have, that kind of financial support that allows us to do these type of adventures, because it does take someone in the background to make sure this happens for other people to have a really great time. And Algarve Sevens is certainly one of those places that you go and there are memories there. As soon as you arrive, you're building them for that whole weekend. Unique tournament in that concept, because of course, as I said, the location makes it special.
David, last question from my side. Then now it's time for Dallen to go for the final ones. What keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to go in a plane, go to Algarve or to other tournaments? Is there? Can you share the secrets?
I was once standing with somebody and they said, I can't watch the end of this game because we just tied the game and there was only a few minutes to go. And I said, this is the whole reason I'm here, for these next 2 minutes. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'm here for these, to see, can we find a solution? Can we change something? Can we do something to win this game? And that's really what sport's about. It's more about the journey than the result. And so I try not myself personally to get too wrapped up in the process of how you do it, as opposed to just enjoying the thing you're doing. And that's really how you make it more of a fun type of an adventure. And for me, obviously rugby's my living, and I couldn't think of a better job. The excitement of, fighting in the 15s game, the relegation early in the season, or trying to win promotion. And the same in the Sevens tournament, thinking, oh my God, if we don't win this game, we're going to be in the bowl. And then, somebody does a bit of magic or whatever, or you've just put a sub on and you go, oh, wow, what a decision that was. Lucky I listened to the commentators yesterday when they told me I should have put on somebody else. And they help you along. Do you know what I mean? And that's part of the game. That's really just trying to get the, Sevens takes you on that journey, as I said, high, low, high, low, high, low. And I love that part. I want to be there when that's happening. I don't want to be watching it on a live stream. I want to be actually standing on the pitch side, experiencing it.
Well, Mubsy, I don't even have a last question. I just have a last statement. And it really is, in all my years of Sevens, it's my favorite game, Sevens, particularly because you can bring people, as you said, from all different backgrounds together for a weekend, and then they produce, either magic or things don't go according to plan, but that's part of life as well. I just want to say you and the Jesters have done an unbelievable job of keeping it fun, keeping it exciting, and bringing that energy and vibe that every tournament comes to love. And so I really just want to say hats off to you and your crew and your group. It's phenomenal to see. Whenever I see your jerseys right on the field already, there's a smile on the face. There's going to be some nicknames. There's going to be some good, wonderful little stories to share.
I could give you a sneak preview. I have lying on the floor here, a possible change in jersey.
Oh, you have it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. Let's get the reveal going.
Hey, sure.
Sure.
Let's just see if I can get it.
Call Michi, Dallen. Call Michi.
Yeah. So there'll be.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Can you see the badge on it as well?
Yes.
The sports company.
That's impressive. Wow. Look at that. See?
Okay. And then obviously sponsored by Rugby Now, who's over in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be we'll still have our other stuff as well, but
Yeah.
we thought we'd go a little bit more sort of traditional, what is actually more traditional Jesters color.
Yeah.
Shorts might be what you'd like. Do you know what I mean?
Let's see.
There we go.
Oh,
That's impressive. That's impressive.
There we go. So there might be a little bit different color this year. So there's a little preview. Okay.
I love it. Make sure you pack enough for Francisco and myself. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have your sizes, lads. Sorry. You have to play. You'll have to get out of the pitch and play. Yeah.
well, Dallen can play, but maybe Michi can do what he did in LA. The type of reveal.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Dallen runs around that beach in LA like he did 10 years ago. He's ageless.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to follow in your footsteps, Mobs. If I can look that good at 150, I've done something right.
Yeah, no, it's quite lucky, isn't it? Eh? Yeah, good stuff. That's brilliant chatting to you guys, and I promise you, I can't wait. It's a unique tournament, and I'm lucky I pop up in the commentary box and watch you boys in action and everything. It's great. You know what I mean? It's, as I said, it's a lovely tournament, and hopefully we just have another fantastic weekend there again in June.
Thanks, Mobsy.
Top draw, gents. Thanks a lot for that. Eh? You take care.
Thank you, head
See you
coach.
shortly.
So
Bye.
let's say goodbye to the people at home and see you for the next episode
Yeah.
of Fun in the Sun.
Thank you. Let's hopefully we see a few of the people at the game. Come down and have a party. Just come down and watch the tournament and party. Great beach town. Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you. See
Okay,
you.
take care. Cheers, eh?
Cheers, Mobsy.
Bye-bye.